All right, welcome back in. Hang with Hester, presented by Richard Honda. Jordy Collada here with me on a Tuesday afternoon. Going to welcome in our guy, Cody Worsham. Does a great job over at LSU, puts out more podcasts than anybody I know and crushes every single one of them. Cody, what's up, brother?
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
Doing well. Hey, man, I know you're getting creative like a lot of people are, but I really like the new style of podcast you're doing, having a couple of current LSU guys. You just had Walker, you had Cole Henry on, and that gives a lot of people a chance to see those guys in that kind of format for the first time. So how did that all kind of come together?
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people, we're trying to figure out what we can do, and given the current circumstances, it's the part of the job that I enjoy the most is talking with student athletes and the coaches and kind of getting to know them. And so, personally, I was missing that. I was kind of going stir crazy, taking kids outside on walks and fetching with the dog and all that kind of stuff. So I was trying to figure out what I could do. But then we kind of talked about it as a department, and one of the things we wanted to do is not only give LSU student athletes a chance to talk and kind of deal with the stuff that they're going through right now, which is cathartic just to kind of talk about it, but also a chance for other student athletes, whether they're at LSU or across the country, to kind of hear those voices and, kind of figure out some ideas for themselves. So, there's a couple ways of looking at this situation we're all going through right now. I think the biggest thing that we can do, though, there's a distance between everyone, a literal distance. So the best way to bridge that distance is just to talk with people and have conversations. So fortunately, as much as everyone's struggling, this Zoom platform that everyone seems to be using for video conferencing is pretty convenient for having those kinds of conversations. So that's the origin story. It's been good so far. We got more coming.
You spoke with Cole Henry. How's he using this time? This was a money year for him. What's a guy like him away from the game? How's he handling this mentally?
Yeah, let me say this. I'm going to speak not on behalf of Cole, just kind of my interpretive lens of what I would assume is going through his mind, and then where necessary, I can use his words. I would think that Cole, as most of us would assume, this year, like you said, was his money year. This was the year that he was going to have a big year, be an All-American, lead LSU to Omaha, and go get drafted. Now that, like so many other plans, has to change, or you at least have to wait and see what happens. The day that I talked to him was the day that the draft announced that it was going to be 5 rounds this year, and that obviously is going to be a game changer for a lot of guys. If Cole gets picked, if it's the right situation for him, I'm sure he and his family will talk about it, and he'll have a decision to make. But the fact that guys are going to get an extra year of eligibility, the seniors are going to get extra year of eligibility. He's got some leverage with the ability of being a draft eligible sophomore. He could come back if he wanted to. So what he's doing, his plan was basically to go, I think he's in Florida, and just train and try to be on top of his game and take care of his schoolwork remotely, focus on his pitching, focus on his arms, stay healthy, heal up, and do whatever he could to be ready for the draft. With the changes and the flux, I think he's just kind of waiting and seeing. But he told me, he said, look, I'm more than happy to come back to LSU. I love LSU. I feel like I have unfinished business because we didn't even get to play SEC this year. He kind of joked about he hadn't made very many starts for LSU, and I think he'd like the chance to come back. So he's like a lot of athletes right now. They're just kind of waiting and seeing what the future holds. And fortunately, he's a young guy, and he's got the opportunity to come back if he wants to.
Coaches have to be losing their mind. They're such creatures of habit, and we all know they have a routine. And so we know that about coaches. I haven't had a chance to talk to any student athletes because obviously we're all distancing ourselves, and you don't have that access that you typically have. I mean, today was the first day I've seen an LSU athlete in a couple of weeks. I saw 3 football players working out on the levee by themselves today. But, Cody, you've had a chance to interact not only with some baseball players, but really a couple sports across LSU's different platforms there. What's kind of the mindset that you've picked up from them? Is it just complete uncertainty and they really don't know what to feel?
Yeah, I think they're just trying to control the things they can control, which is what a lot of us are doing. But Skylar Maze, for example, his career at LSU's done, and Skylar's so mature and just mentally and psychologically advanced from so many other people. He's dealing with the hurt of not getting to finish his career the way that he wanted to, but he's also taken this time to do a lot of research. He's looking at agencies. He's looking at agents. He's looking at the process of getting involved with the NBA. And, it's kind of the same situation with Cole Henry. He doesn't know exactly what it's going to be like. Will the draft be the same? What's going to happen with the NBA this year? Are they going to finish? Are they going to do a truncated schedule next year? It's still in flux, but he knows, even better than Cole does. His career at LSU's done, and he's he's doing a lot of studying. Skylar also, comes from a family that's very involved in healthcare, so they've been from the very get-go, they've been very isolated. He said he hadn't even really gone outside much. He's doing a lot of indoor workouts. Greg Golden, their strength coach, gave him a workout program. So that's it. I mean, these athletes, they're kind of like the rest of us. They don't know what's next for them. They're trying to figure out what they could do. I think the biggest thing for them is the biggest challenge. These are social guys and girls. These are athletes who are used to being around teammates, interacting with teammates. And when you take that away, that's difficult. I'm a dad of two, and usually it's just me, my wife, and my kids. And I go to work, I come home, and see friends every now and then. But these guys, that's their family. That's their family that's kind of been taken away from them at this time. And so they're adjusting to that. They're communicating, text messaging and Snapchat and all the stuff that they use. But they're still kind of navigating those waters because, if this would have happened to me in college, I can't imagine the strain that it puts on you. I know there's a lot of people going through a lot of stuff right now, but each person kind of has to carry their own burden, and that's a burden. These are athletes who are used to being around teammates. They didn't get to finish their seasons the way they wanted to, and so I think they're taking some time to recover mentally, recover physically, and just try to stay in the best shape they can.
I'm not sure if you can answer this completely, but the function of putting on an LSU football game is a huge task that starts months in advance. Has your department or LSU athletics begun the discussion to talk about contingency plans on if it may be suspended, delayed, or worst case scenario canceled?
Yeah, I don't know from an administrative perspective. I'm not in those conversations. All that I know is that I'm preparing as if the fall sports are going to be as normal. And that's what I'm hoping for. I think Coach O was on the morning show this morning with you guys.
Yeah.
And he talked about what his hopes were, and that's kind of where I am. This is a time where everyone kind of, as y'all know, and your work too, you just kind of focus on your job and your role. And so the communication that I've had with everyone in the athletic department is let's prepare for the fall, let's get ready. A lot of times those fall preparations start now anyway, and you're balancing them with the spring sports and the coverage of that and the events of the spring. Well, those aren't going on now, so we have more time to dedicate toward the fall, getting things ready, getting things in place, getting ideas ready, and that's where we're moving. And then, of course, whatever happens outside of our control, we'll adapt to it, we'll adjust to it. But yeah, we're planning to move forward in the fall, and I'm hoping there's football. LSU football is obviously a big thing to everyone around here, and if we could get it back, that's kind of what I keep thinking for it. That kind of hope on the other side of all this is whenever we get things back to normal, we're really going to appreciate them in that first game or that first event. I don't care if it's football or beach volleyball or if it's whatever it is. I think we're all going to be really, really excited about it.
Cody, appreciate the time as always. Any clue who you have coming up next on the podcast?
Yeah, we'll supposed to talk with Coach Fran Flory tomorrow for volleyball, kind of get a coach's perspective on how they're keeping things organized. And they've been doing a lot with healthcare workers and thanking healthcare workers, and the volleyball program's big with visiting nursing homes. And I know that's a very, very difficult spot right now, the nursing homes, the people who work there, the people who have family there. So going to get the perspective on that, try to get a coach's perspective, and then hopefully round up a few more athletes over the next few days.
All right, there he is, Cody Worsham from over at LSU. Cody, appreciate the time as always.
Later, buddy.
All right, guys, you got it.